Hi, Christine. All right, we just wanted to answer your question individually because I know that a lot of people are dealing with this. So we wanted to make sure that we got your question answered. So you had asked about how to adapt after having a baby.
Yes.
We all know about that.
Big time.
How the relationship changes with your husband, how to deal with the changing dynamic, how to deal with being disappointed in your spouse. Those are all great questions, and how to get it and keep it back. So what would you
It's
suggest?
hard. So
Yeah.
the first thing I want to say is you are not alone.
No.
They say it's about a 3-year adjustment per baby.
Oh.
Per baby.
You know, I always said, Christine, that I would have more children if they would come out at 2 years old.
And for me, 3. For me, 3,
Right.
like when mine are 22 months apart. So when I had a 3 and a 5-year-old, I was in heaven. It was such a joyful time. But that is because it takes that 3 years to adjust. So it's 3 years from the last one for the marriage to adjust. So the first thing is patience, be gentle with yourself.
And your spouse.
Yes, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with your spouse. Definitely, I did some research on just, I know some stuff, but I wanted even more expert stuff. So John Gottman is a really great resource, and him and his wife did a lot of research on this, and they showed that 67%, that's a huge number, are more unhappy after a baby, that the marital happiness goes down. Now, I would say that's until they're 3 or 4, right? That first 3-year adjustment, it's really, really hard and really overwhelming. So they came up with a 3-point system to kind of help people reconnect. And they do this with a lot of people before they have the baby, focusing on the first thing being friendship. Staying curious, and I think this goes for everyone, right? In a coupleship, you need to stay curious. I think you're with somebody 3 or 4 years, you stop asking questions, you feel like you know, but you know what, we don't. So continuing to ask those curious questions. Yeah. Stay curious, have a curious heart, be interested in their day and their beliefs and their values, because they're changing all the time as well. So that's a real connector, to ask questions of each other, not accusatory questions, but silly questions. What was your favorite band in high school? Who did you want to be, when you were in high school? Who was your favorite rock star? How did you, celebrate with your friends? Just finding those interesting questions. That's one thing. Secondly, intimacy, staying in intimate connection, talking wise, speaking gently. I feel statements. It's real easy to get passive aggressive, right? Suzanne shared earlier.
I did, about taking out the trash.
She might do a little door slamming, a little tug and jerk.
They should just know.
Right. And she brought up, your spouse is not psychic.
Yeah.
So please know that you need to communicate your needs, and you need to communicate it in I feel statements instead of I can't believe you didn't take the garbage out for the 4th time this week. It needs to be I feel so frustrated when the garbage doesn't get taken out, falls back on me, that smells in the garage.
Or in your case, probably it's I'm so frustrated that I have to get up with the baby every single night and you're not helping and you're sleeping, you know? I need some help, or, but not doing it in a passive aggressive way.
Right.
Like slamming the bedroom door to wake them up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right. There's the baby. I'll get him.
Right. Don't worry. I got this.
Right. Slam. Right. So I feel statements, communicating, and just being really gentle. And when you feel really, really angry, time out. 20 to 30 minutes off. The Gottmans say, go to your corners, do some deep breathing. There's all kinds of great meditation apps. I know when you have babies, you don't have time to meditate, but it's really cool. Suzanne turned me on to Headspace. It's 10 minutes. Hide in a closet for 10 minutes. Download Headspace and just get yourself back to center before you talk about it. The third thing, constructive conflict, which is, what I'm talking about, I feel statements, self-soothing, and shared meaning, which is doing rituals together, dinners, dinner at the same time every night, doing the baths together with the baby, doing things that bring both of you in. Because I think one of the things you're referring to is we feel so overwhelmed and like, this is on me. Yeah. I'm doing everything. So saying to them, hey, instead of doing the dishes right now, can you give the baby a bath with me, right? So doing things together, pulling them in so that you can feel that connection. Suzanne and I talked earlier on another video about, setting boundaries. Like, it's hard with a baby, but if you have another child, getting them to bed at a certain time, not having babies sleep in your bed. These are the kinds of things that...
Yeah. If you haven't had a chance, go back and look at our last post as well, Christine, because we have a lot of stuff in there that we talked about.
That pertains to you, but it's also for people with kids a little bit older. The other thing is resources are so helpful for communication. So I have a couple resources. We brought out the 5 love languages. If you haven't read this,
Great
it's
book.
a Bible. It's a couple's Bible. It's really
Yeah.
thin, and nobody has time to
Super
read when
thin.
they have babies. So just download it and listen maybe in the car. I know you live in an area where you might drive a little bit, so listen to it. But we're going to tell you real quick. You want to tell her the 5
Yeah.
love languages?
I don't know the 5. You probably
I'll
know
tell
the
you
5.
the 5.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. So 5 love languages basis is that if I speak Greek or I speak Spanish and you speak French, we're never going to communicate. So if my love language is words of affirmation is that I need to feel loved. What I need is to be told, I love you, you're beautiful, thanks for getting up with the baby. I need words to feel loved. The second language that your spouse might be is
Act of service.
acts of service. If they're acts of service, that means that they feel loved when you
Do stuff for them.
do stuff, do the laundry, get the dishes done, have dinner ready, pick up the dry cleaning. Another love language is,
Receiving gifts.
so some people, you can do everything to make them feel loved, but if you don't give them gifts, they don't feel, maybe they grew up in a home where they got gifts every month, and that really is how their parents showed them love. So, doing those thoughtful things doesn't have to be expensive, but saying, you know what, I know we love Snickers bars, I'm gonna pick them up a surprise, I got you a Snickers bar or a little tie or whatever. But for some people it's gifts. And the 4th love language,
Quality time.
quality time. Boy, this one's my husband's. I get this one. And I am words of affirmation. And he is quality time. So we are different. So quality time people, they want to know that you've set aside for them. Hey, on Sunday, I'm going to spend the whole day with you.
Yeah.
Or we're going to grab dinner on Friday night, which there's no time left when you have little ones. So that makes it really difficult. So I will tell you the secret to staying married when you have little kids. You don't always have to do these things, but if you can validate your spouse, I did this so much when my kids were little. I would say to my husband, honey, I know
Don't
it's
have
been
time
3
right now,
weeks. I'm
right.
so sorry, but I want you to know I'm trying to find an hour this week. I'm trying to find a babysitter for Saturday. I know how important it is. Maybe when the baby's napping on Sunday, letting them know I get what you need and I am working on it. That's that buys you like 10 years.
And the last one is physical touch.
This one tends to be more of a male thing versus a female thing in the sense. I mean, we like
Shocker.
affection, but usually physical touch
is sex.
So again, kind of working that in. So again, can you imagine if your love language is verbal affirmations and you're walking around, here's the trick to this that the book teaches you. If I'm verbal affirmations, guess how I show love? Verbal affirmation. So I tell Suzanne how beautiful she is and how much I admire her and how much I love her.
And I'm like, no, baby, touch me.
And she wants touch. So we're missing each other. So
Right.
that's how you learn your husband's love language. You don't have to make him read the book. See which one he does.
Yeah.
What he's doing for you, and you're like, I don't care that you folded
Right.
the towels. I don't care.
Right.
But that's his love language. So now if you do acts of service for him, he'll feel loved. So this is kind of relationship 101. If we could get back to the basics of doing these things to meet each other's needs, it's really going to make a difference. And yes, you have to go first. Get out of the power struggle of, it's not fair, he doesn't do anything for me, I do everything. Somebody has to surrender first and be the giver, and then hopefully it will be responded to and reciprocated.
It will.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Christine, we hope that was a good answer to your question. Thank you so much, and keep the questions coming.
Yeah, and please share this, because in your mom group, we hope
Yeah.
that this is helpful.
Yeah, and tell them to like our page and to ask us any questions they have as well. Thanks, Christine.
Bye.